Hi y'all, so you're back right here in another episode of Indigo Podcast, and today I'm gonna give y'all another race recap because I had a 5K about, what's today, Sunday, so 2 days ago on Thursday. Put a clip of me running right there at the finish. I don't think it's at the finish, it's just me strolling at the middle of the race. But obviously we have about, I said 5 last time, but it's actually 6 categories. I watched the video after, I'm like, dude, it's 6 categories. So 6 categories, 6 things I'm gonna go over in terms of the race. So first thing, obviously, the stats. So the distance my watch got was 3.12 miles. It was getting pretty close. Like, I don't know if it's the dynamics of the course, is just the area of where I'm at in Texas, but it's pretty close. So 3.12, and I stopped it a little bit late, so it probably was exactly 3.1 ish. So 6:02 minute per mile average pace. I didn't get the official average pace, so I'm assuming it's pretty close to what my watch said. Official time was 18:50.6. Not a PR, but I'll get more into that later. But overall, I think it was a good effort. I think it was a good race, regardless, no matter the conditions at hand. But pretty good race. Placed 64th out of 116, so about halfway in terms of the pack, I guess. Average heart rate is 153. That's a little bit odd. I mean, we started right at 7, like maybe 7:01, 7:02. So it was a little bit earlier in the day, a little bit brisker in terms of like hot and humidity. So maybe that's why. But my max is 195. So that was a little bit weird. It might have been another reason too. Like I said, I'll get more into depth about that later, but it was kind of weird for me. Then fastest pace was a 4:27, obviously, when I first drove out. So not really surprised there that I was in the 4 minute per mile range. But the splits, even though they weren't the fast splits in terms of what I did last time at, I believe, a Spring Branch, these were very consistent splits, and I negative split them. So I'm happy with that. So 6:08.7, 6:04.9, 6:01.7, and the last 0.1 of a mile was a 4:55 pace. So in terms of executing the race plan, in terms of like negative splitting, which I've been trying to like make the splits as consistent as possible, not make them like 5:44 or 5:50, 6:12, like how it was at Spring Branch. So other than the splits not being the fastest, they were very consistent. So I'm happy with that. But the second thing I'm going to go over is the course. Not really much to say about the course. It was very similar to Spring Branch in terms of its technicalities. I mean, not really many dips in the ground at all. I mean, Spring Branch had like one dip with mud in it, but this one had like no dips at all that I know of. Maybe a little dip in the ground at one part where you kind of go really quick around this tree. But other than that, it was pretty straightforward. I mean, the first loop was a little bit different than the last two. The last two were very consistent. They're the exact same. With the first one, you went another direction. But other than that, very, very consistent course, very straightforward. And one thing I will say that this has over all the other courses I've ran so far, it felt very open. Because when I was like peeping it out, we did our 1 mile shakeout, like 1 mile warm up. It's like 2 lanes of a track, and it's like, I would say, 4 to 5 feet wide, maybe 3. I would say 3 to 5 feet, just to give it more room for error. But it just looks very wide and like very spacious in comparison to other ones, because I feel like other courses, they're more narrow and this one is wider. So I'll mention that. Other than that, not really that much technicalities going on. Not really many elevation dips. It was pretty straightforward. So I would say this is my favorite course. Just the way it looked in the morning, it wasn't really that hot, other than when you crossed the line, it was a little bit more humid. But other than that, pretty straightforward. But next thing, I'm gonna go over pre-race nutrition. Was pretty much it was the exact same. 2 slices of sourdough, 1 banana, tablespoon and a half of peanut butter, creatine and electrolyte mixture. Because, I mean, I figured out after, like, I believe it was the meat before Spring Branch, that kind of just got locked in, because that made my stomach feel the best out of all of them. Not the overnight oats. I'm going to keep saying overnight oats. Probably shouldn't eat that before a race. Maybe your stomach is different than mine, but for me, no. But anyway, I mentioned this in episode 47, but like I did not feel the best at all going into the race. I'm gonna be completely honest, because you already know the story. It was a stomach virus epidemic. I don't even know what happened, but came in Sunday. Tuesday felt okay. Wednesday night leading into the race, I ain't gonna lie, it was pretty bad. I was just curious about what was about to happen. I knew I was about to run, but I was just curious as to what was about to happen. So in the morning, I felt okay. Was kind of drowsy. It was kind of like nodding off a little bit because I was pretty tired. I mean, I woke up at 3:30. sleep was interesting. So, like I said, I just got some sleep on the bus, knocked out on the bus. Had the fuel actually went down pretty well for how I was feeling. I was kind of worried if my stomach would like it or not. I was kind of worried about that, but went on the bus. Like I said, we woke up at 3:30. We left the bus at like 4:50 ish, so pretty early leave. But I mean, it is in Pasadena, so that's about an hour drive on the bus. So that's why. But yeah, I was knocked out on the bus. I was thrilled, but very good nap. That was the best nap I've had on any bus ride so far. The pre-race nutrition wasn't really that different at all. Actually, not even it wasn't at all. So when I get to this pre-race section, expect the same thing: sourdough, banana, peanut butter, creatine, electrolytes. Same thing. So I feel like if you're changing it, you're doing a bagel instead of sourdough, your stomach might turn on you last minute. You don't want that before 5K. You definitely don't. So fourth thing I'm gonna go over, and this is one of the main things I want to go over: what was the goal going into the race? And obviously I mentioned the goal is a PR, and obviously 1850 is not a PR, but like I said, I mean, if you want to factor in the stomach virus and just lack of sleep, and just obviously my body it was kind of fighting me. It wasn't really cooperating the best. But I mean, I toed the line regardless, because that's just what I do. I'm going to toe the line regardless, even if people might think, bro, you should have went to the hospital. I mean, no. But, I mean, with that factored in, I guess, and if you want to factor it in even more, I went to the restroom before the race. And the thing with these cross-country races, sometimes you get lines, sometimes you don't. It depends on if there's a wait before your race or not. Because, I mean, at Spring Branch, we weren't the first ones racing. It was the girls, I believe. So no dudes were up in there. So you could get in and get to the restroom and handle your business early. But for this one, we were the first ones. So, everybody's about to beeline it to the restroom. So I didn't do my strides or anything before the race, but I'm not going to factor that in. It is what it is. The time's the time. So 1850, not a PR, but times aside, that was a very good effort. I'm very proud of that race, because I mean, I could have pulled out a bunch of things out of thin air and said, oh, this happened. I mean, I don't really care for all that. I'm going to run, and my time was my time. But in terms of effort, I tried my best. I did what I could, and I finished very strong. So I'm happy with that. But that PR goal ain't going nowhere, because when I see that 5K, I'm going to see you for real. It ain't finna be no sickness, okay? Hold on, let me knock on wood, because I don't know. Me and stomach viruses got beef, because that was terrible. That was bad. Stomach viruses are bad, guys. Don't have stomach viruses. But anyway, fifth thing I'm gonna go over: what did I learn from this race? I just learned, like I kind of mentioned in episode 47, like your back would be against the wall. For me, my back was kind of against the wall. It was me versus stomach virus 1-on-1. But I just learned, no matter the circumstances, no matter how you feel, if you really set your mind to something, if you really say, I'm about to go run this 5K. I ran the 5K because, I really set out there and said, I'm about to do this regardless of how I feel. I mean, maybe it wasn't the most logical thing, but I just think whenever you hold yourself to a certain standard and you say you're going to do something and you really mean it, literally anything can happen, no matter what odds are stacked against you. So I just really learned that, and I feel like this is a moment in my life where, let's say when stuff gets a little bit, I guess, chaotic in my life, I'm gonna go back to this and be like, you ran a 5K with a little bit of stomach problems, and you still pulled through and did your best. So I just feel like, because I know David Goggins mentioned it, and I don't think I've stated this on a podcast before, but it's just, you kind of develop what he calls a medicine cabinet of things you've done. Because it's bound to happen. Sometimes you may question yourself, and you may be kind of skeptical. So you have to remind yourself of who you are and the things you've achieved throughout your life. So that's just a stepping stone of something I've achieved in my life. Some adversity, and some I've been resilient in. That's not the way I'm gonna say it. Resilient in something I've been resilient in my life. So. And then also, like I mentioned, one thing I learned is stomach viruses are not fun. I think it's officially the worst sickness ever. I mean, even the flu, because I think you can run with the flu, because I've heard neck up you should run, neck down probably shouldn't run. Not the smartest thing. You still can, but maybe not the smartest thing. But I think stomach virus is the worst. The stomach, your stomach, bro, if your stomach's hurting, that's you can't really avoid that. You can't really ignore it. So yeah, stomach virus is not fun, guys. I've definitely learned that. But last thing, what is the goal going into the next meet? And the goal still stands, new PR, and I have a time goal, so I'm gonna aim for 750 to 1810. That's my new goal. Goal's not changing. I'm just ready to get into the next 5K and see what I can really do. So yeah, 1750 to 1810. That's a new goal, new PR, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. But that was episode 48, and I'm gonna see y'all next time.